So welcome to my in-depth review of the FILDO L3. This is an exceptional electric bike in today's competitive market. In this video I'm going to talk you through the good, the bad and my opinions. If you enjoy the video, like, comment and subscribe.
So the first complaint I have with this bike is the tail light. Now hear me out on this one, because the tail light always stays on. It doesn't sound like a problem. However, when you're commuting and you're on train station platforms, obviously they do actually require you to have no lights visible to the bike, because the train signals, obviously it can mix with the train signals. So a couple of times I have been told to completely isolate the bike using the key. There's no switch on the actual handlebars to turn off the rear light. So there is a switch to turn off the front light, but not the rear light. So this rear light is always on, unless you turn the bike completely off. So that is something I have noticed, and it is something slightly annoying. I would like the option just to turn this off. So while we're talking about downsides of the bike, we've got to talk about the weight of the bike. Now, I appreciate the bike has to weigh this amount because of the actual battery, and the actual components used on the bike. So I'm not going to blame it on the bike. All I will say is, if you are going to buy this bike, make sure you're aware of the weight. This is one heavy bike. Lugging it up and down the stairs, if you use it for travelling, I use it on the train a lot, and sometimes when the lifts are out of order, this is one heavy bike to carry. So do bear that in mind. And again, if you are going to be putting it in and out of your car quite a lot, and again, you might want to consider something else. So another downside is these brakes. Now, they're functional, but they're not up to the job. The braking performance, I find, is really inadequate. You don't get much feedback through the brake lever. That's absolutely fine, no problem with that. My problem with these is that they feel really sort of pulsating. You get a slight grab, then you get a release, and then again they grab the brake disc again. So it's a really irregular way of braking, and it can make it quite dangerous, especially when you're using a back brake, because the tyres that come included, again, they might be quite hard wearing, but they're not very grippy. So as soon as it brakes slightly, it does kind of slide out, and given the weight of the bike, as soon as it starts to slide out, it's going to catch you out. So again, something to bear in mind is these brakes, again, they're not up to the job. Whether you can change the pads and the actual brakes, if that makes a difference, I'm not too sure. I need to investigate that a bit more. But as standard, as the bike comes out the factory, I would say the brakes are really not up to the job. Okay, so let's talk about some of the good points of this bike and what makes this one of the best e-bikes for the money you can buy on the market. First of all, I'm talking about the battery. Okay, sure, you do get the claimed 80 miles range on this if you do change the unlock speed, which I have done. So I've de-restricted this bike to go from 15 miles an hour up to 27 to 30 miles an hour, depending on how much charge the battery has. However, the range on this, even at that de-restricted speed, is fantastic. You're looking at 35 to 40 usable miles without any reduction in power, really, and that is phenomenal. I mean, obviously there is compromises to that I've explained in the video, but overall the range is phenomenal, and it makes it a really, really usable bike in all sorts of different situations and scenarios. Another positive so far, in my experience anyway at least, is the customer support. So I actually contacted out before buying this bike, because I had to basically pre-order the bike and wait for it to come into the UK. As soon as it came into the UK, it got shipped to my address, and it came and it was assembled perfectly. I didn't have to tighten any bolts, I didn't have to put anything on. I literally just had to unfold it, clip it together and go. And it's really, really well made bike, straight out of the box, which is nice to see, because it's not always the case. Also, the after service support, I basically had an issue with the tyre. If I can find a picture, I'll insert it, but I don't think I have that picture anymore. It's basically where the seam of the tyre came apart after only a couple of days. So I contacted the customer service team. I spoke to Becky, her name was, from the UK customer service team, and they did say they're going to send me out a tyre. Within saying that, it's been 14 days now, roughly, and I haven't received my rear tyre. So I've had to purchase one from somewhere else. So that is a bit of a shame, but she did inform me that it was coming from China, so there's going to be a slight delay on that. So again, I can't update you whether we're going to get the part or not, but I have received a tracking number for the part as well. So far, in my experience, the customer service has been fantastic, although not exactly quick. Okay, so let's talk the drivetrain of the bike. So it is pedal assisted, however, I'll be completely honest with you.
So I would say this bike is more designed to be used on the throttle, as when you pedal the bike, the pedal assistance cuts off at 10 miles an hour and the bike is geared to be pedalled no further than this. It's worth noting that none of the speed modes change how the throttle acts or how the pedal assistance actually acts. 1, 2 and 3 on display have no meaning in my experience.
So in terms of comfort levels, it's a very small bike, 14-inch wheeled. However, this seat, although it doesn't look the best, it is extremely comfortable, well padded.
The seat can be flipped up to make it much easier to remove the battery, which you can do by turning the key in the opposite direction. It's a really nice feature. So you can see here you have a very basic display that shows your battery, your speed and your miles, and that's it, to be honest. Very easy to change between kilometers an hour and miles an hour, and it shows you all the information you need without distracting you on the road. There's some also really thoughtful design features here, like the rubberized elements on the brake levers that provide extra grip when braking, as well as pedals that can fold inwards to make storage and portability of a bike that little much easier. A lot of time and effort has gone into this video, so please let me know what you think below. Like, comment and subscribe. This video is not sponsored. Like all of my videos, no company has had editorial access or has seen this video before. You're seeing it at the same time as them.